Same shots. The protester we saw fall in the first video, and David, now dead next to him. There's no doubt some of these shots hit David and Erickson.
Sometimes as an African young man, as a youth of Africa, I look at the world, I seem to say I understand a little bit of the world through the globalization and the availability of information. We can have access to information and see the crazy developments that are happening all over the world. What is going on in countries like Russia, the strengthening of its own country, how their economy is a strong economy, and the miracles of China that we witness across the globe. And if I look at how Africa is doing in that context, it is so heartbreaking. It disturbs my heart. I can't imagine, and I don't understand. It's difficult to wrap your head around it, with how undeveloped and underdeveloped and poor Africa is. While we have all the raw materials that is required in order to develop, all those raw materials are being taken away by other countries to develop their own countries. But Africa isn't doing any better, and we are struggling and we're suffering. And in my own assessment of the situation, I could be completely wrong, but I think leadership matters. Leadership and the quality of leadership is the final decider whether we as Africans are going to develop or not. And if I look at what's going on with the kind and the quality of leadership that we have in Africa, who have kept us hostage and trapped in this poverty that persists today, I get so disheartened. And I ask myself, what does it take for Africa to develop? How are we supposed to develop Africa when we are squeezed like this? When we aspire for a better future as the youth and the young people of Africa, and we want to raise up and challenge the incapabilities and incompetencies and corruption our leaders have, they just eliminate us. They just kill us like we are nothing, like we are ants. I see it all over the continent. I see it in Mozambique. I see it in Kenya. I see it in Nigeria. I see it in Cameroon. And these leaders are so old, and they just take advantage of the fact that they fought a war to liberate us from the white colonizers, and then use that to oppress us, and use that as they are the ones who have the supernatural power to be leaders of Africa, and no other young person should be in power, even if they don't have the idea and the capability to transform Africa. That's why we are stuck in poverty today. You look at what's going on in South Africa with immigrants flocking all over from different parts of the continent, and it becomes a crisis. But the authorities where these people are coming from, they do not care. They pay no attention. They do not look in the mirror and see that they have failed. But if the young people rises and say anything, we get killed. We get arrested. We get jailed. All this is going on. If you look at what's recently going on in Kenya, it's the same thing. Anybody who opposes and stands up against them, they eliminate them. What kind of a world are we living in? How is Africa ever going to develop? Do these leaders want us to pick up arms as the youth and fight and liberate ourselves? Do they want a different liberation struggle from the youth so that we can liberate ourselves from them? Because they are oppressors. Are oppressing the youth of Africa. We are not free. I don't feel free in the continent of Africa. There's definitely no freedom. We have just been given a different oppressor with a different color. They liberated us from white oppressors, and then they became the oppressors themselves. It's just the color which has changed. But Africa is still under oppression. It's just the color of the oppressor which have changed. How are we supposed to develop? I have this question. How do you expect us to be proud Africans? Do you expect us to participate in our own economies if we don't have a say? if this is how we are being treated, we are expected to be civilized citizens who are not violent, but while this we are being met with unbelievable amount of force and violence when we speak up, when we ask and we demand for the transformation of Africa so that we all can have better lives, we all can do away with poverty, we all can have job opportunities. How is it possible that Paul Biya is still a president at 92 years old and he still wants to be a president? How is it possible that Museveni still wants to be a president of a country for 40 years and going? He has no plan, never said anything about him leaving the stage. What are we supposed to do as the youth? That is my question to you, leaders. What are we supposed to do? What do you expect from us? Just wallow in poverty and cry and sit back and do nothing about it and say nothing? When we go to the street and protest unarmed, you come with the full force of the state with guns blazing at us. What do you expect us to do? That is the question that I leave for you. What do you think us as a youth supposed to do? Fold our arms and do nothing. This continent, Mother Africa, belongs to us all. This soil that we are standing on belongs to us all. It does not belong to one person. It is not up to one person to decide what happens in the whole continent. We have the right. We have the say. We must have the power as the people, not a single individual, not a group of people. That should come to an end. And as the youth, we have to stand up and we have to unite and we have to put this to an end.